Hello, I'm Het, and welcome to Anecdote Thursday. Today's edition returns to the house I mentioned in the first anecdote, the one with the new solarium floors, and also returns to the food theme that has been running rampant through the last few videos. This particular anecdote brings a smile to my face because it makes my little sister look bad and it makes me look good. At least in my eyes. You be the judge. And the title of today's video is How Not to Cook Fish Sticks. With that said, let's get to it. This story starts on an evening when my parents had gone out to eat, leaving myself, my younger brother, and my youngest sister behind. Being the oldest, I was left in charge. I believe I was around 14 at the time. I was in the front room reading, my favorite pastime, when suddenly the smoke alarm went off. At the same time, I noticed a very acrid smell coming into the front room. And also at that moment, I heard my sister yelling. Something unintelligible, but she was definitely yelling. I rushed into the kitchen and saw a fire. The toaster was on fire, and the plastic light fixture above it was also on fire, and the plastic was dripping down onto the toaster. Being the son of an electrician, I knew what the first thing to do was, so I reached out to the plug, which was away from the flames, and pulled it, thereby cutting off the electrical power. Now I had to put out the fire. I grabbed a towel, wet it down, and threw it over the top of the toaster. The fire went out almost immediately, and the light fixture stopped burning as soon as the heat from the toaster had been removed, but it was still dripping a little plastic now onto the towel. Once things quieted down, and I did that little wavy thing underneath the fire alarm to get it to shut off, I pulled back the towel and surveyed the damages. There was a fair amount of plastic covering the toaster, but it didn't look like any had gotten inside. And the reason it hadn't gotten inside was immediately apparent. There were 2 pairs of fish sticks, 1 pair in each slot of the toaster. I stared at that for a moment and then went to my sister's bedroom, where she had immediately run to once I had come into the kitchen. I opened the door slowly and asked her if she was okay, if she'd been hurt at all, and she said no, but she was very scared. I told her everything was cool, the fire was out, she didn't have anything to worry about, until Dad saw that melted light fixture, at any rate, but she's this little girl, you knew she was going to skate on it. So I asked her, "What's the deal with the fish sticks?" And she looked at me with an innocent, wide-eyed look and said, "Well, I was hungry." I started to explain how fish sticks go in the oven, not the toaster, and besides, she was not supposed to do anything in the kitchen without my watching her. But she was having none of that. She was fairly traumatized, and I decided to just let it lie where it was. My parents got home. The house still smelled like burnt plastic. My dad was furious, but once I explained what had happened, he calmed down immediately. My mother was not too happy, though, as her kitchen looked wrecked, and she was worried the toaster was broken. Turned out, all we had to do was chip the melted plastic off it, and everything was fine. And so ends another Anecdote Thursday. I like to kid my sister about this one every so often. My dad, we don't talk about it that much. But I did get some props for not letting the house burn down, but I wound up just babysitting more. Wow, lucky me. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed this. I really enjoy bringing these to you, so I'm glad you stopped by. As always, be well, and thank you for your attention.